one among them would be the very, would serve the very purpose of creation, who would be at the summit of everything. And that one is Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It had to be so. I mean, this is not a preference in a question of large numbers. There has to be one who excels everybody else. So that one is the purpose of creation, because in him is fulfilled all that was the best in that design. This is the meaning of that tradition. This is why, working backwards, everything is under the favor of Hazrat Rasul Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Although things were born, majority of things, a very great majority of all the creation was before him. Yet he is the benefactor of all that was before him, that preceded him. In this sense, as if you sow a seed for the purpose of getting some fruit, and one particular fruit, in fact, the very best, who is your ideal, when you get that fruit, all that has happened to the tree and the growth has happened before that. But that fruit in a way becomes the benefactor of all that preceded it. The very first seed, and you are looking after it, and the roots after they sprouted, and everything that followed, that falls under the beneficence of that ultimate fruit, which was your purpose of sowing the seed. All the effort, all the trouble you took was for the sake of that fruit. Suppose now, halfway, you come to realize that this tree is going to be barren. Ultimately, it won't bear any fruit. Most likely, you would cut the tree and discard or burn the wood, because the tree spent much time without any purpose on that tree. So this is a way of looking at that tradition. If Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the very last thing which was in that design, the very summit of things, the very highest of that purpose of God, was not to be created, all the creation was in vain, useless. And man as such follows in the second place. The same thing could be applied to man in general. If creation of man was not in the blueprint of Allah's creation, then other animals would not have been created. And from higher to the lower animal, if you travel downwards and remove the upper half, or remaining upper, the same hadith would be applicable there and there and there, and so on and so forth. Yes, please.
May I ask another question, a separate question? The word Noor has been used in the Holy Quran several times,
yes,
in connection with Allah. Does it really convey any physical meaning, or it conveys any other?
No, yes, please. Again, I have discussed this question, though not in detail, but somewhat previously here. The marked distinction is made between the words Nar and Noor. Nar and Noor both are forms of energy, but they behave differently. Nar is a form of energy which also travels differently. Its characteristic is quite different, although basically both are forms of energy. But as far as creation of life on earth is concerned, it owes much more to light than to fire. All the fire which is required by man owes to the light of sun, because it was the form of sun's light which was utilized in transforming certain chemicals into organic chemicals, and all that was created here on earth, that was created mainly through the factory of that substance, green substance, what's called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the main agent to change inorganic matter into organic matter and to preserve energy of various forms, which is necessary for the maintenance of life itself. It is life, of course, but it serves for the whole largest spectrum of life as the basic unit of production. And the energy it uses is the light of sun, not the heat of sun. Light also carries some heat. That is a different thing. But the main force responsible for the transformation of chemicals into organic chemicals and purposeful chemicals is done by light of sun. So, for the creation of life, light is essential. That is nur. And energy in other forms is also essential, but it can also prove destructive to life. Light itself, in very rare cases, can prove destructive to some life, but not to all life. Very rarely to some sort of preliminary life. But nar, on the other hand, which is fire, it is most often destructive and less often productive. But apart from this, the most interesting thing is that the firepower which you use here on earth, which life has used, also owes to light. You can't conceive of any source of energy on earth which is being utilized by man, which does not owe its origin to light of sun. So this is why the word nur is specifically used regarding some attributes of God. They are manifested in the form of nur, as life creative source, as a sort of energy which is mild as well as creative, as against fire, which has some destructive elements in it. So this is why in the first episode mentioned in the Holy Quran, this comparison is made. The wet clay is the symbol of production. That production is made through the use of light as a source of energy. On the other hand, Satan is a symbol of firepower, and he claims his superiority over the wet clay by saying that fire, nar, is much more powerful than nur, although the word nur is not used here. But the wet clay is the symbol of growth, which is dependent entirely upon nur, not on nar. Nar, on the other hand, would destroy it. So this apparent superiority of fire over light is being discussed there. But Allah tells him that you belong to a lower order. Ultimately, it is the light which is going to win. Ultimately, it is the light which is going to create independent wisdom. A light in itself, which would ultimately be able to lead to the source of light, that is God. So this is why, in the end, in one place, Allah's light, the word light is used with regards to Allah as well as to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the same verse. And some people are confused how they can separate it. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, masalu nurihi ka mishkatin. That is the verse I am quoting. It begins by referring to Allah as light and ends up describing Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam as light. So here the two things meet. Light gave birth to life, and it gave birth to light